Hello there, welcome back to another Fort Triumph video on Unity Titan. I just want to show a couple of new things that have come out in Fort Triumph. One of them is the new map, the Crypt map. There's now a new world map available on the skirmish mode called Crypt. And all the battle maps then will be Crypt variations. Now the Crypt variations is probably the widest set of variations on the battle maps so far. But now you get a Crypt world map to go with it, and I actually like it. I think it looks like a nice map. It's going to be more... I don't know, I haven't only played once and I haven't actually completed the game. So by the time you're seeing this video, I should be back. Down, starting up and recording and stuff again. I just give myself kind of a day's buffer, so that I can prepare, should we say, for the next round of stuff without having to have, without having to go straight in immediately as soon as I arrive back from my vacation and go straight to work. However, this is the new artwork for the humans. So you have a new peasant in the gold and white with the brown highlights kind of, and then you have a new a brute, although it's referred to as a footman, but as far as I can see it's the same characteristics as the brute. So it's got it's a melee unit, pretty tough, and it's got 2 modes of melee attack, including a physics attack. So you have a Crypt world map, which I think looks pretty and very possibly might be more defensible than some of the other maps, because it looks like, because of the corridor, it might actually be possible that if your sit down always spawns on a corridor off the main map, then you kind of have a certain defensive advantage. Whereas, because there's only one entrance into the actual town area, whereas a lot of the grassland map in particular can be, you could have 2, maybe 3 entrances into your town area, and be very hard to guard against enemy units. They can slip past you, although I suppose you can always get back to them. It's going to be one... I don't know how they're going to bring creatures back in, so that's going to be an interesting long-term effect as well. If creatures come back in, which I think will give an advantage to the defending side in any skirmish game, then the town defense becomes much less problematical. Whereas if you're relying on a very scarce resource of parties, then town defense can actually be quite difficult. So, peasants. So the other encounter, I'm going to show another encounter later on with the priests, but I presume there's also been artwork changes for the wizards and the champions. Although personally I've never challenged wizard or champion garrison encounters because they tend to be too tough. Or maybe once well, no, actually I've never really done it. I know I have done, just to see if I could, kind of with high level parties taking on encounters that had skeleton air blasters, which are an extremely powerful high-end unit on the undead side. Much to my total failure, but I don't think I've ever taken on champions, not in any recent game anyway, encounters that had champions or wizards on the human faction. So I'm going to skip ahead from here, and I'm going to show the next encounter I actually had with the goblin encounter over there guarding the boots. But I'm not going to show that encounter because, well, the goblins you've seen before, and there's been no change to the goblin artwork. But here you have a priest encounter. It'll actually have a combination of priests, peasants, and footmen. So you can see 3 of the 5 human creature types, all in the one battle. So we have 2 priests, which are essentially the same as the old priest, except I've now given them a white garment over the shoulder and a hat and a stole, it looks like. Whereas the the peasants are wearing a kind of a cowl, and the footman is basically a helmet and shield and sword. Superficial changes to be sure, but I think they actually just look a little bit more colourful and a little bit nicer than the previous artwork was showing, and I think it's artwork that they had been lining up for quite a while. So I don't know if they're going to be doing similar upgrades to the artwork in other creatures. Because I thought they looked pretty good already. I'll actually be honest with you, I hadn't any real problem with the previous image models, but these things are definitely more distinctive at any rate. So you have the crypt, crypt map. Obviously will have mostly crypt. We'll have crypts, crypt encounter locations, and you have a crypt world map. So far what you haven't got is a mixed world map. I think they'd be able to be set for a mixed world map myself, where you would have crypt regions, cavern regions, and linked together perhaps with an overall grassland world map with different encounter types, I suppose, in the different regions, so that the crypt regions would obviously have more likely to have undead encounters. I don't know, the forest, or should we say the forest regions might have the forest utopia type encounters, or humans, and the caverns might have goblins or something like that. I think it would be kind of an interesting, thematically interesting way of doing it as well, so the different creature types associated with different types of terrain. Don't know, well, presume it could be done. I mean, it's questions, so basically certain areas that act as kind of a portal to different maps would mean that you have a bigger, much bigger base world than normal, and you'd probably have to have the town in each level, or a couple of towns in each level. So it'd be a much bigger exploration game. You'd have a lot more independent factions. So far they haven't really gone in for independent factions. So that is I don't know whether they want to develop it in that way or not. They haven't gone in for independent factions, and they haven't gone in for any kind of roving hostiles equivalent to the barbarians in Civilization either. Although it's tough enough maintaining a defense, especially when you've only got parties. Either of those cases would probably give rise to a situation where you'd probably you could justify it, or definitely would require the use of creatures and extra garrisons and things like that. Anyway, this fight's coming to a close. The clerics are all very well until it's just the clerics, and then they just a matter of tracking them down and hunting them down, because they their attack isn't actually that hard hitting. It's much more of a support type unit, and if they don't have anybody left to support, they're quite easy to deal with. So it's just a matter of whittling them down. Get rid of one. Guaranteed to kill one of them, because the savage is going to get one anyway. Except the fact that he missed. Is he blinded again? Yes, he's blinded again. Oh well. That guy's dead. And the other guy is in zone of control, and decided not to risk triggering the savage's zone of control, because of course the savage wasn't blinded by the time. He's only blinded in his own turn. By the time the next turn comes around, he's no longer blinded. And of course the cleric can't attack in melee. And now the savage should finish him off. That's it, that's the fight over. So, to summarise, basically you have seen the new Crypt world map, the new terrain, some of the new human faction artwork. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please press like, comment, share. It really helps the channel out. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to the channel. I will catch you all again soon. Bye for now.